Welcome back to Pegasus in the House of Travel Triathlon Festival. Still to come, the main event, the Christchurch Casino Elite Cup with prize money of $6,000 up for grabs. Before that though, there's a team event, a duathlon and a chance for first timers to have a go with the Try. New Zealand's champions of the future may be taking part in this race though. It's the SBS Bank Kids Challenge. This is a slightly shorter swim than the other races, 150 metres, but the kids will still be expected to race on the same bike and run courses as the adults. The youngest competitors start at 9 years old and go up to age 13. The older kids do a bike course that's twice as long, twice around the circuit at 10Ks. And they're away, definitely no shortage of competitive edge here. Great to see so many kids taking part, and when you think most of them will have been through a pretty traumatic year, it's even more remarkable. Some of these youngsters' families are still living in broken houses or temporary accommodation. Many of them will have been attending schools that are having to share buildings with schools that are too unsafe to go inside for now. Great to see support from mum and the family on the sideline, really yelling encouragement to these kids. Out of the swim and onto the bike. A real mixture of bikes here in transition, ranging from real road bikes to some bikes that look like they've only just had the training wheels taken off. And finally back to the lakeside for a 2.5 kilometre jog around the shoreline. Great support being shown here by families despite the weather still being a bit on the gloomy side. And so a look at the scoreboard for our youngsters. Well done to Sean and Lorna, only 16 seconds separating the top 6. Good job to all of them. While this is all going on, the elite athletes have arrived for the race briefing for today's race. And it's a bit different. The race starts with a swim as usual, 350 metres this time, so it's slightly shorter than the classic try earlier in the day. The course doesn't go quite as far across the lake. Then the bike course takes them back on loops of Pegasus round the eastern and southern edges of the town. And then it's back to the lake for a run around the edge, and then, this is where it gets unusual, they go back into transition at the end of the run, then back into the lake, and they do the whole thing again. Hot favourite Nikki Samuels has had a great year, winning the Escape from Alcatraz Triathlon in San Francisco and the ITU World Cup Try in Mooloolaba in Queensland. She's Oceania Sprint Distance Champion and New Zealand's National Series Champion.
The double sprint race is definitely different to what we normally do. It will be interesting and a lot more fun. It's always good to do something outside of the norm, and this will be also an interesting challenge against the guys as well, racing them. It makes it a bit more difficult trying to get back into the water again after you've run, and I'm especially a bit concerned with the latest weather here in Christchurch to do that without a wetsuit. So we'll see how it goes.
It's a strong male field too. New Zealand favourites James Elvery and Tom Davison will face strong competition from the likes of Sam Osborne and Frenchman Aurélien Lebrun.
I've done a few of these before. I don't want to give too much away, but I know how they go usually, and you have to be pretty careful about when you... It's very full throttle the whole way, but you have to be very careful about when you put it fully down, and it can be quite tactical, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be good fun.
Tom Davison made a name for himself at the ITU World Cup in Auckland by deliberately setting a punishing pace which he could not hope to keep up.
It wasn't a tactic that we'd talked about, but the opportunity arose during the race to go off the front of the bike, and in the process helping Chris Gemmell out a little bit for the win, and also helping New Zealand out to guarantee the 3 spots at the Olympics for next year.
There's plenty of young New Zealand talent on show. Local boys Mac and Raina Pai, who've just seen their mum Jackie complete the classic race.
I'm pretty nervous, but I think it will be a good experience, but so it should be good.
There's always been a bit of brother rivalry between us, so if I can beat him, I will be stoked, but I think he may catch me in the run.
I've got a big dream. I really want to go to the Olympics one day, but I think that needs a bit more training, and definitely Olympic distance racing and that sort of thing, and then maybe when I'm older turn and do the Ironman maybe, but I don't know, I'll have to see how it goes really.
Another talented young triathlete is Michaela Nielsen from Hamilton. At just 17, she's already won Under-19 World Championship gold in Beijing in September.
It's a lot more nerve-wracking because you have a lot more pressure. It was just fun trying to beat everybody, when you're younger, although it's that now. But I don't know, you've got a lot more pressure. And it helps with racing, more adrenaline.
And the women are away on the Blue 70 swim course, getting into their work very quickly, and they'll be trying to work together to make sure they stay ahead of those boys. They're not too far from starting.
I think it's going to be quite tough for us to catch the girls this year because there's a lot of them at the front. Normally there's a lot more guys racing than say girls, but in races like this. But they've got a really quality girls field. There's probably as many good girls as there are good guys, so it's going to be quite tough to pull back a lot of time. But yeah, it's going to be a good challenge.
So the boys standing on the beach, wondering how far up the girls will go. There's Nikki Samuels out in front. Just putting her head up to see where she is. Sighting is a very important part of the swim. And just heading back towards the shore now in the Christchurch Casino Elite Cup. The boys looking on nervously. The girls are out of the water. They'll be heading towards the bike course as we await a start from the men. And these girls will be very, very fast through transition and getting their wetsuits off, trying to think about what's the next stage of the journey for them. The swim is over, but remember they've got to come back and do it again as the men start, and that is extremely competitive as they get into the water and make short work of the start of this race. They'll try and form into a pack, and what these guys have to realise is they have to work together if they're going to catch the girls, because some of these girls, most notably Nikki Samuels, can cycle like a steam train. So here's the guys. The pace is not given up at all so far. Round the first buoy and making sure they're on the right track to head back towards the shore. Head up again, just trying to sight where everything is. And this is a very difficult lake swim actually here at the Pegasus course, but very rewarding as well. So here we are on the News Talk ZB bike course, 2 laps of 5 kilometres. And Nikki Samuels is absolutely flying at the moment, trying to put as much of a gap on these boys as she can. And the men just coming to the shore. A unique race in New Zealand this, having men versus women. And these guys, again, will they work together or will they try and do it by themselves?
The boys will definitely just go for it. There's no holding back for them. I think that they will probably, even if it's a 5-minute head start, they'll probably catch us just because of the whole transition time. There's a lot of running in and out of there, and they've got that speed that perhaps we don't have, even if I can hold only a few minutes out of them on the cycle. So yeah, it will definitely be a tough, challenging race, and I think they might just edge the win on us.
Coverage continues in the Christchurch Casino Elite Cup as the boys try to catch the girls in this race.